All right, here we go. Episode 12. Um, there is a lot of potential in here, and I don't think they even tap it a little. Like, seriously, they have this kind of lovers triangle, and I could almost see, like, Starbuck getting, like, set up to get killed. That kind of thing. Like, ooh, you could have some really interesting drama here, and they just don't do anything with it at all. Like, I don't know. This is a two-parter, and I haven't seen the second part. So that's a bit of a problem. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't be doing it when I haven't seen the second part. But I did. And I mean, maybe they add some more of that in the next episode. But I don't think so. Mostly because a lot of that tension just vanishes at the end of this episode. Like, seriously. Oh, and this is the episode with a cool hat, by the way. Isn't that thing gorgeous? I love it. The moment I saw that, I was like, oh boy, he's man. Seriously, look at it, guys. Oh, wow. Just wow. This episode introduces a mad general character, or maybe just a war dog. I haven't decided. There is a lot of potential for really interesting stuff here. And I have a really bad feeling that this all vanishes in the next episode. And it's like, why would you put all this time and energy into developing, like, something that really feels like this Mad General is going to set Starbuck up to get Starbuck killed so the Mad General can move in on the girl? I mean, seriously, it's all there. Like, all there. It's all ready to go, man. All you just need is, like, another 5 minutes of editing, you know? Add in, like, the repetitive spaceship battle thing and Starbuck going, ah! And that would have been a great ending to this episode, and they didn't. And I'm going, what? Because I don't understand. Yeah, I don't know. Like, from an editing perspective or a directing perspective, I'm going to kind of lump the director in. I've already done it in the past. Weak. Very, very weak. Like, man, I don't know what decision you were thinking when you made this decision, but that was a bad decision. Very bad. And I'm sorry, but it's just not okay. Sorry. Yeah. Seriously, like, I don't know what they were thinking. The episode is very good. Okay, honestly, a 4 out of 5 minus the helmet. The general character does fantastic job. Fantastic. And he actually kind of gives you this feeling like they go off, and halfway through the episode, they go off and they do this thing, and you kind of get this feeling like for a few seconds, maybe this guy's not just like a little, like, loopy, but like full on, like, bat crazy. You kind of get that feeling, and then again, they just do nothing with it. Man, there is literally, I would have taken the elements in this story and broken them down into several other stories, because this would have been a good 3, 4, 5 episode long segment. Like, lots of room to bring in an additional cast who can bolster the story, add some depth. Man, they should have done it earlier. Yes, this. Oh God, see, man, seriously, there's so many problems. It's not a bad episode, guys. I think I started to say 4 out of 5, and I'm still saying 4 out of 5. But I mean, just this episode would have been much more reasonable if they had done it at the end of the first episode. Yes. And then they have this segment where there's 2 battle stars for a while, and that's how they get away from the Cylons. That's how they escape. And then it ends with, I'm assuming, I haven't seen the next episode, I'm assuming the other Battlestar blows up. Yes, it's a safe assumption. From a storytelling perspective, from a presentation perspective, I'm going to guess the writers and probably the editors did it that way, but I'm guessing it didn't air that way. It was pretty notorious back then. Like, they would air these things out of order, like, a lot. Maybe they intended it to be this order, but it's bad if it is this order. It would have done much better, like, shortly after having escaped the initial Cylon attack. They run into this thing, and they're like, wait a minute, what are you doing here? And they're like, oh, we're, just, like, wandering around. And the way they have it right now, it's like, they're, like, so far from a home world that, like, they're basically, like, on the other side of the galaxy is kind of how they say it. which doesn't make any sense. But I mean, hey, we're not going there either. But I mean, it's not supposed to be close, it's supposed to be far. Whereas at the beginning of the episode, they would have been like on the outskirts of their civilization, close to their civilization, like enough that you could actually see a rogue squadron, operating like to defend their home, because they're actually like close to their home and they're not in like an entirely different galaxy, somehow protecting their home by fighting the war in a place that has nothing to do with their home. Yes, I mean, like, what? Anyway, yeah, doesn't make any sense at all. If they had done it where, like, honestly, guys, I haven't seen the next episode, but I would actually recommend you watch this episode after episode 3. Maybe even skip episode 3. I'll put this stuff together, guys. That way people have like a better order to watch it in, because, yeah, this episode does not deserve to be here. Although you have Balthazar with his helmet. That's pretty cool. That might actually present a story editing problem down the line. I don't know. I'm trying to remember if Balthazar was like in prison at that time or if he was on the Cylon team. I think for a couple episodes he wasn't, so you probably have to watch those first and then put this one in. So maybe episode 6, maybe episode 6, because I think around that point Balthazar joins the team, at which point he's the villain again. They did not keep him on ice very long. He very quickly became the bad guy somehow. I mean, you need a human. Otherwise, you just have a weird mask being the villain, and that just doesn't work at all. Everyone knows that. Anyway, overall, this episode is fantastic. My biggest irritation is why they put this episode so far back in the story. It makes way more sense if this happened early on and not later. As it is, you're just kind of like, wait, what? And I really hope it's because of the way the television stations released it. I know they were notorious for doing it out of order back then. And I really hope that's the reason. Because if the producers and the directors instructed it to be organized in this fashion, what are you thinking? I feel sorry for the writers. And probably the editors, because the editors were probably like, dude, why are we doing it this way? This is terrible. But hey, it's the way it is. So the editing on this episode is weak, but it's not the episode itself. It's the whole dang show. And this review is going on longer than I intended to. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it all up. You guys have a good one.